What is up, Pacer Nation? Welcome to the Pacer Pulse podcast, the heartbeat of Indiana basketball.
Welcome, welcome.
And man, I feel like I'm starting to sound like a broken record with these games, but another tough loss, Pacer Nation, and just the fact that we could blow a game like that. I mean, I guess I shouldn't even be a surprise at this point. It's just commonplace with this team this year. I mean, the fact that we were literally up 20 points at one point in this game and in full control, in classic Pacer fashion this season, we blow the lead and lose to the Boston Celtics. And we lose 95 to 103. And at this point, it's almost just getting to be kind of speechless. I mean, we completely forget how to play basketball in the second half when we were literally up, like I said, 20 points or so. Yeah, we were up almost 20 at halftime. So the fact that we just came out in the second half and laid an egg, essentially, I'm starting to think we just are literally just trying to lose on purpose after I've seen this game. And you really just thought, like, man, we're actually going to get a solid win, our best win of the season against Boston, who's been on fire this year, who's been extremely good. Kudos to them. Hugo Gonzalez, I want to shout that guy out because I get it. He's like just a role player, but that dude is pretty awesome as a rookie. So maybe we just made him look awesome, but I want to give him props. I was impressed by that guy. But like I said, discouraging loss, embarrassing kind of, to be honest, because the second half was just brutal. We forget how to score and play defense really in the second half. We literally had 13 points in the entire fourth quarter. So if that doesn't paint a picture as to how bad it was, let that paint the picture for you, I guess. But sorry, it gets tiring. I thought I was going to be able to talk about a win tonight, but of course that didn't happen. But so how I like to do this, I break it down quarter by quarter. The good and bad that I saw throughout the quarter, just different highlights that I saw. I write them down and just kind of cover them. I'll go over each player's stats after each quarter, which guys were kind of leading the charge during the game, and then the final stats and all that, team stats, player stats. But we made a lineup change tonight. We went back to Ethan Thompson in the lineup instead of Quentin Jackson, and honestly, it looked pretty good for the majority of the first half, and especially in that first quarter, we were literally lights out. I think we hit 8 threes, or 8 or plus more threes in that first quarter alone. That's literally how many we hit in the entire game against the New Orleans Pelicans. So if that doesn't paint a picture to like how fire we were from 3-point line in the first half, we are literally hitting everything. And that's pretty much what got us a big lead in the first place. And I'll get into the team stats and whatnot too as I go through this. But so the starting lineup tonight was Nembhard, Ethan Thompson, Mathurin, Siakam, and J Huff. And PJ was out this game. I don't know. I think they said he was kind of a late scratch with a right knee soreness or something like that, or something with his knee. But he was out this game. And honestly, this would have been a game we could really use TJ. We really needed his energy out there. And I don't know, maybe just they're being super like cautious, and I get it because TJ is kind of getting older up there in basketball terms. But so to start this game, Nembhard, he had a good, awesome pass to Siakam for a 3, and then Siakam hit Mathurin for a corner 3. Like we were just raining in threes the first quarter. It was crazy. And then Nembhard to Siakam for a 3. Siakam, he was looking dominant early on. I mean, he just was unstoppable for like the whole entire first half. And then defense, we were looking better than the last game. So, like, especially compared to that Pelicans game where they literally just walked into the paint half the time. Our defense was a lot better to start this game. Let me preface that. And then Huff, he hit a 3. Ethan Thompson hit Mathurin for another 3. So Mathurin was getting going early from the 3-point line. Ended up not shooting very well at all from the field from this game. So still struggling to shoot a very good percentage, Mathurin is. And then I lost my notes. And then the Celtics, they started playing zone, and then we just struggled to play against the zone, but we were actually hitting threes still when they went into zone, so it wasn't really stopping us that much here in the first quarter because Ethan Thompson hit a corner 3, Nembhard hit a 3. We were like 7 of 8 from the 3-point line at one point in the first quarter. And then Walker, he had a strong take and finish inside, takes the contact. Pretty much everything you want to see from Jarris Walker. He had a strong take. I was like, man, we're going to actually see good Jarris this game maybe. It just looked like a very confident take inside. And if you could just, we could see that all the time because guys are gonna bounce off Jarris. He's a big guy. He's got the strength to do it, but he just doesn't do it. I don't understand why, but it goes away very quickly. He has a pretty rough game. And then Pacers, we were on like an 8-0 run. And then Ethan Thompson hit another three. We were 8 of 9 from the 3-point line so far in the first quarter. I mean, that was, like I said, that was just as much as we hit against the Pelicans. And then the Celtics are going on a run, and they got it within 4 at one point. And then Quentin Jackson, he had a nice spin move and finish and a layup, and he got the and one. And we finished a quarter on like a 16-8 run over like a 5-minute stretch to end the first quarter. So even though we let the Celtics kind of go on a run and get close to being back in it, we went on a run ourselves to extend the lead a little. So we were up 35-26 after the first quarter, and we were shooting 52% from the field, 67% from the three line. Boston was shooting 39% from the field, 36 from three, and rebounding was pretty even. We had 12, they had 11 offensive rebounds. They had 3, we had 1. And I always highlight that because we get killed on the offensive boards, so I like to kind of keep track of that. And then turnovers, we had 2, they had 1. We had 0 points off turnovers, they had 6. And bench points, we had 7, they had 5. Points in the paint, they had 12, we had 6. And you'll see that was a big determining factor in this game too. The points in the paint were pretty bad again. And then the leaders after the first quarter, Nembhard had like 4 points, 6 assists already. Ethan Thompson had 6 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. Matherin had 6 points, 1 rebound. Siakam 9, 1 assist. J Huff 3 points, 4 boards. Quentin Jackson had 5 off the bench. Jarris 2 points, 3 rebounds. Furphy had another good game. He kind of cooled off in the second half, but overall, I liked what I saw from Furphy, and he had some awesome like offensive rebounds throughout this game. Some good defense, I thought too, and I think he even hit a 3. Yeah, he hit a 3 at one point too. But whenever he misses, man, sometimes it's ugly. But really like what I've seen from Johnny the last couple games, even if he did kind of die off in the second half a little bit. But all in all, as you could see, Nembhard had 6 assists in the first quarter, so I want you guys to keep that in mind because it died off tremendously the rest of the game. Not trying to just single that out, but it was kind of weird. Like he only had like 1 assist the entire second half or something like that. It was kind of crazy. But so going into the second quarter, yep, Furphy hits a 3 coming out of the gate. So you thought, hey, we're going to keep our foot on the gas here because usually the Pacers this year, it's been off and on. Like we'll go on a run, we'll give up huge runs. It's just we don't play consistently throughout entire quarters. And then Siakam, he had a post move on Gonzalez and shoots the fadeaway and hits the mid-range over Gonzalez. And the defense was looking better still. Nembhard had a nice mid-range over Gonzalez. Siakam hit another 3 at one point. And then Siakam, he just could not miss. Like he was hitting every single shot in the first half. And really going up until the third quarter where he only scored like 2 points, I think, the entire third quarter. Just so weird. I don't know. It was weird. But then Nembhard, he had a mid-range fade in the corner before the shot clock expired. That was a good shot by Nembhard. Wiseman found Ethan Thompson for a 3. Then Ethan, he drives and finishes with his left hand. He has some crafty finishes in the paint tonight. And he hit some threes early on, but he definitely cooled off from 3 in the second half, just like everybody, I guess. And then Siakam, he had a spin post shot in the mid-range, and he just continues to hit everything. Furphy had an offensive rebound. He already had like 5 rebounds before the half was over. And then Furphy, he recovered to get the steal after that. And just like I said, great plays from Furphy tonight. I thought he was doing just a lot of the winning stuff, even if he wasn't like driving to the hoop like he was last game, getting some finishes inside. He was rebounding. He was playing good defense, finding the right guys, making the right passes. I just liked what I saw. And then Nembhard hit Furphy, who caught a tough pass, and then he ended up passing it out to Siakam, who hit a 3. So like I said, just another great play by Furphy. And we went on like a 9-0 run at the end of the second quarter there. So at halftime, trying to find my notes here. Yeah, so at halftime, we were literally up almost 20 points. We were up 61-43. Sorry, wrong notes there. And we were shooting 51% from the field, 60% from 3. Boston was shooting 38% from the field, 28% from 3. So you would really think we were locking them up, and then we were finally hitting all our shots. Like everything was going amazingly in that first half. and we had 15 assists. They had 11. We had 22 rebounds, so they're 20. They had 4 offensive rebounds, so our 2. And turnovers, we had 5, and they had 4. Points off turnovers, they had 8, we had 3. And the bench points, we had 10, and they had 9. Points in the paint, they were killing us. They had 24, we had 12. So really, like I said, we were playing awesome. Honestly, like that first half, in my opinion, was like one of our best halves we've had all season. And I'm not trying to like exaggerate and say that. It literally, like, we looked that good. And we were hitting every single shot. And our halftime leaders, too, in scoring and just points, or just different stats in general. Nimhard, he had 8 points, 7 assists. Ethan Thompson had 11, 3, and 3. Like, this guy was playing awesome in the first half. Matherin had 6 points, 2 rebounds. Siakam, 23 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. Like I said, he was unstoppable. 23 in the first half. Didn't end up with much more than that. He kind of went ice cold in the second half, like everybody. And then Jay Huff had 3 points, 4 rebounds. Furphy had 3 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal. Quentin Jackson still had 5. Wiseman had 1 rebound, 1 assist. I mean, he did barely much at all. Walker had 2 points, 4 rebounds. And Isaiah Jackson also ended up getting hurt in this game. I don't know if he got like hit in the head or something to that nature, but it caused him to not really play the rest of the game. So we kind of had to roll with Wiseman, who, like I said, wasn't awful, but it's not like he really did anything that stood out. So going into the third quarter, Nimhard, he was coming out aggressive on offense. He was really hitting some shots early on. And then Matherin, he tipped in a Siakam miss. It was just like a beautiful tip in that you wouldn't expect, but a good offensive rebounding play and just tip in. And then Matherin, he had a strong take and finish inside. He really got going here in the third quarter, and he really struggled from shooting from the field again this game, but he definitely picked it up in the third quarter here. And then Matherin, he draws an offensive foul on Simons. Just a good defensive play by Matherin. And then Nimhard, he had a turnover that led to a Celtics 3. And then the Celtics, they went on like a 10-2 run. Like I said, it's always like a back and forth game of runs with our Pacers this year, guys. Like, and I'm just giving it from a pure fan perspective here from what I see, and like, it's just ugly. We can't play consistent basketball. And I hate to have that feeling every single game, but I never feel comfortable with the lead with this team this year, as I know we always tend to collapse because we give up too many runs and we can't sustain a lead because we end up missing so many shots and then our defense falls apart. And that's what goes with making shots is your defense can get back and actually get set up. And they both go hand in hand, of course, but it's just ugly all around. And then Nimhard, he gets an offensive foul and he causes another turnover. And then he got a technical foul after that because I guess he said something to the ref under his breath, or it was something like that. Said something to the ref and they didn't like it. Kind of weak, but still, who knows what Nimhard said. But I mean, he did get the offensive foul. And then Celtics are on like a 16-5 run with like 4 minutes left in the third quarter. Walker, he misses a wide open Furphy and passes it too late and gets a charge called on him. Like he had Furphy in the paint. If he just passed it sooner, he wouldn't have got the charge. But he ends up trying to drive it inside even more, passes it late to Furphy, ends up getting the charge drawn on him. Just Walker continues to be so frustrating, in my opinion. And then Siakam hit another mid-range shot, and the defense has just collapsed in this quarter. Kind of like it was holding steady the whole first half, but the third quarter and the fourth quarter just really went away. And Quentin Jackson, he had a strong drive and finish. He is so quick getting to the rim sometimes. It's almost like he's a blur out there. Really like what I see from him at times, but he's not prone to, he's prone to making mistakes just like everybody. So he didn't have the greatest game, but wasn't terrible. And then Matherin, he had a beautiful drive and passed Gonzalez for 2. He like kind of shot faked and I don't know. He just was like a beautiful little like up and under type of layup. I don't know how else he would describe it, but it was a beautiful, beautiful play by Matherin. And then Matherin, he actually had an awesome defensive block on Jaylen Brown. Literally, I think it was the next play down, or one of the plays where they had like a fast break. Matherin runs back and stays in front of Brown a little bit, and Brown goes up for the layup, and Matherin blocks it at the rim. And then Matherin, he had a layup before the end of the quarter was over too. So at the end of the third quarter, it was 82-74. We were barely holding on to a lead. We actually didn't even have a good quarter. We got outscored in that quarter. And so the Celtics were climbing back. And if it really wasn't for that first half and then how on fire we were from 3 in the first quarter, that really kinda carried our lead for most of this game until we just collapsed and gave it away, but so we were shooting 43% from the field, 41% from 3 still. Celtics were shooting 41% from the field, 29 from 3. We had 18 assists, they had 14. We had 32 rebounds, they had 32, so it was even there. We actually had 7 offensive rebounds at this point, and they had 6, so we usually never win that. Steals, they had 4, we had 2. We had 3 blocks, they had 5. Turnovers were even at 9. Points off turnovers, though, they had 14, we had 9. Bench points, we were getting killed. They had 32 bench points, we had 10 or 12. And points in the paint, we were getting killed also. They had 38 and we had 22. So you can really see where we probably honestly had no business even like winning the game at that point because they were literally winning in every category. I mean, we were getting it was like I said, it was literally that first quarter I think that really carried us for the rest of this game because after that we pretty much got beaten almost in every single quarter besides the second, but like I said, it was really that hot start that really helped propel us, and then we kind of maintained water this in the second quarter. So going into the fourth quarter, Nimhard at one point to me, I'm just gonna call it like it was playing hero ball at one point. Like I said, I think Nimhard's a good player. I just think sometimes he just like tries to go in this mode where he's like, oh, I'm gonna try to do everything and force up some shots and layups, and he just gets ugly. That's not who I think he is as a player. And obviously, we're asking him to do a lot more this season. So, how much can I blame him for that? I just wish he would be a little more cognizant on like, hey, like I'm kind of not doing anything too great right now. I should probably pass it off, get the offensive flowing, and try to get a good shot from somebody, and not just try to force a layup inside. Or I think he just tries to do that too often this year. And he's been very good in games this year too. And he was good in this one. I would say it's just towards the end though he only had 1 assist the entire second half. So that might have been a combination of just nobody hitting shots though. So, but either or. But then we couldn't score as the Celtics are now like down 2 with 9 minutes left, and we were just collapsing bad. It was like poor offense, poor defense, just all around. Really awful quarter, and we were giving up too many second chance points in this quarter. The Celtics were on like a 9-2 run at this point, with like in the last 4 minutes. It was like a 4-minute stretch, and we only had like 7 minutes and 25 seconds left in the game at this point. And Siakam, he had a pass to a cutting Ethan Thompson who had a tough finish inside. And Boston was on like a 13-4 run at this point. And then Nimhard had another costly turnover here. And we only had 4 points in the quarter at this point in time. And we only had 5 minutes and 40 seconds left in this quarter. Imagine that. We have 4 points in a total of like 6 minutes of played. That is incredibly bad. That's so bad. That's crazy. And then Matherin, he had a pull up deep 2 to go down 1. And we thought it was a 3, but they called it a 2. But it was just a good shot by Matherin, a clutch play, but it kind of stung that it ended up being a 2. And then Nimhard, he draws a foul and hits the mid range for like an M1, took the contact foul. He's been pretty good at those so far this year. So it was a good drive and take and way to take the contact. And then Nimhard, he has another drive and turns it over, forces some shot inside or tries to pass it. I don't know. It was a bad play, and he just got a turnover. And to end this game, Celtics were on like a 24-9 run, and we scored 9 points at one point in this fourth quarter. And it wasn't until garbage time where we ended up getting to like 13 points in the fourth quarter. And that's pretty much the game, guys. Like I said, pretty awful. We had 13 points in one quarter, 21 in the third quarter. I mean, when you score less than 40 points in an entire half, you're not going to win basketball games. And then the fact that defense just wasn't even, like, I guess, terribly bad, honestly. Like, they only scored 103 points. I mean, you would take that any day. It's just like the offense kind of collapsed. And, yeah, they did have some second chance points and all that really helped seal this win, too. But, honestly, I think our defense really wasn't bad all game. It's just we collapsed so bad. I mean, we had our stretches, of course, of bad defense. We always do. But overall, I'm saying. But really, it was just the offense, like, collapsing completely in the second half. Because we literally went from hitting every single shot to hitting nothing at all. And in this game, we ended up shooting 39% from the field, 33% from 3, which is crazy with how hot we were shooting at first. Celtics shot 43% from the field, 30% from 3. 19 assists for both teams. We got out rebounded pretty badly, especially, like I said, they had so many other second chance points and opportunities to score because they kept, and plus we just started missing all our shots too. They had more rebounds because of that, but they have 49 rebounds. We had 36. And offensive rebounds, we had 9. They had 11. So at least they only had a few more, like a couple more than us. And we had 13 turnovers. They had 13. They had 20 points off turnovers though. We had 11. Bench points, they had 32 to our 18. So got pretty beat pretty bad in that category. Points in the paint, they have 52. We had 28. Continues to be a trend where we continue to get absolutely destroyed inside the paint. And it's almost unbelievable at this point. Like we for some reason cannot score inside the paint, and that's especially bad when we're like one of the worst three-point shooting teams on the season. So, where are our points mostly coming from here? Mid-range. I think our shot diet, like I think the mid-range has a place in the NBA, and I've always been a proponent of that. But man, we just cannot get to the rim, or if we do, we just can't hit shots. And then we're just not a good enough three-point shooting team to justify, I guess, putting up 43s, even though you believe in the guys that could shoot them. It's just we consistently don't hit them from game to game. It's unreal, to be honest. But so, like I said, they literally beat us in every category almost. It was really just that first half that really carried us. Coming out hot, we hit like 8 of 9 threes in that first quarter. Kind of continued the good offense in the second quarter, but like once the third quarter came, a little bit into the third quarter, we collapsed completely. Stopped hitting shots. Like I said, we had 21 points in the third quarter, 13 in the fourth quarter, which you're not going to win any games in that regard. Scoring that much in a fourth quarter, that's pretty bad. And then to end the game, the stat leaders. 1 second here. Yeah, Nemhard, he had 20 points, 7 assists. So if you guys remember, I said he had 6 assists at the end of the first quarter. So the fact that he had 1 assist essentially the rest of the game is pretty shocking. And then Ethan Thompson finished with 13, 4, and 4. He had a pretty solid game all around. Went cold from 3 in the second half, but like I said, everybody did. Mathern, he had 16 points, 9 rebounds, and a block. I mean, he at least rebounded strongly. He led the team in rebounding this game. He just wasn't hitting his shots, and it's probably the toe injury still, amongst other things, but sometimes people just go on cold streaks on shooting, but I believe he'll bounce back, and he's not getting any foul calls anymore. I don't understand that either. Like, there was several plays tonight where he got bodied very badly at the rim, and like they just don't call the foul. And if it was SGA, if it was Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, Giannis, any of those guys, it would have been an automatic foul. So I just don't understand. I don't understand what's really going on with the foul calls for him when he was clearly getting fouled on a lot of these plays. And Siakam, he had 25 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, continues to be solid. But like I said, 2 points the entire second half. That is unreal. That just cannot happen when your best player scores 2 points in an entire half. Either he was just missing shots, we're not getting him the ball in good situations and easy spots to score. Like, that's awful. I mean, he had 23 in the first half. And then Jay Huff, he had 3 points, 5 rebounds, was basically a ghost out there. Furphy ended up with 3 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. Quentin Jackson finished with 9 points. Walker, I'll get into Walker. I feel like I have to do this every game now because it's the same old with Walker. I mean, I don't know what else I can say. 2 points, 4 rebounds. Wiseman, 1 rebound, 2 assists. And then we actually got to see Kam Jones this game for the final minutes. And I think that's very encouraging to see. I want to see what this guy can do. I mean, we traded up to get a pick to draft this guy, so we clearly saw something in him. He's 23, so he should be kind of more ready to play now, you would think. And I don't know. I mean, he scored his first NBA bucket this game, even though it was like a last second. I mean, it was like the final 10 seconds, I mean. So, but he did have a nice behind the back pass to get into that shot. So I don't know. I mean, I would like to see him get some more burn. Hopefully, as he kind of gets more conditioning under his belt, he can start to play some minutes more, because why not at this point? I mean, I think I saw he's 6'4", 200 pounds, so he's got some good size on him, where he's going to be a good combo guard option, I think. And I don't know. I would just like to see him get some more burn out there, see what he can do, because why not at this point? Might as well play him. To me, just play him 15 minutes a game or something once he's ready to play. But it was cool to see him to finally get his first NBA minutes, and I hope that kind of goes up as the season goes on, of course. So that was at least encouraging that he got in for even like a minute, I guess. And then I'll cover the plus minuses. So Nimhard was a -6. Ethan Thompson was 0. And Nimhard, he shot well, 6 of 13, 2 of 4 from 3. Ethan Thompson was 5 of 12 from the field. Too many shots for Ethan Thompson, in my opinion. I mean, I guess who else is going to shoot him, but 12 shots for Ethan Thompson seems kind of a lot. And he even led the team in 3-point shot attempts. And he was shooting open ones for the most part, I'd say. So you can't be too mad, but I just think that's not a good sign when Ethan Thompson's shooting the most threes on the team. And then Matherin really struggled from the field, 7 of 20, 2 of 7 from 3. Started off hot at first, but just could not get anything to go. It was a rough shooting night all around. Siakam, 9 of 18, 4 of 7. Like I said, he was shooting very well. He was and Matherin was a -21. He led the team in the worst plus minus. Siakam was a -12. J Huff, -7. He was 1 for 6 from the field, 1 from 5 from 3. And Furphy, he was 1 for 4 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3. He was a +6, though. Quentin Jackson was a -11. Jarris Walker, 1 for 5, 0 for 4 from 3, -8. I mean, what can I say? Then the rest of the guys didn't really play much to really say, but like I said, Pacer Nation, just a rough way to end that game whenever you thought we were just going to steamroll this Celtics team, who's been one of the best teams in the East this year, surprisingly. And then we come out and just lay an egg in the second half, and that's what happens, Pacer Nation, with our team this year. It's just, I'm at a loss for words for it anymore. And it just gets to be so frustrating. And I guess if we're Team Tank, we're happy. But man, it would be kind of cool to see some wins. I mean, we're literally behind the Brooklyn Nets right now. That's how bad it is. I mean, they've at least, I think they just beat Toronto the other night. I mean, we can't even, I don't get it with this team right now. I get it. We still have injuries, like Neesmith's still out and like Toppin, but come on, like most of our team is somewhat healthy. Obviously, Tyrese, we already knew we were going to miss him, but it's just ugly. And I know we desperately need a center. We need a starting caliber center because this ain't going to cut it. We can't have James Wiseman playing heavy minutes. And as much as I do appreciate what J Huff brings, he's got too many limitations where he's just obviously not a starter. He could definitely be a decent backup, I think. So I think we got something there with that, but we need to find that starter bad. And whether we do that before the deadline or not, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't even matter. You just hope to bring somebody in, I guess, for next year. And Jarris Walker continues to do just absolutely nothing on the court. I mean, I guess I'll give him the 4 rebounds, but defense is bad. Can't hit shots. Too many like dumb mistakes, turnovers, and whatnot. Like he had 1 turnover this game, I guess, wasn't that bad, but he just does too many boneheaded things to me, and I don't know. I'm so down on the Jarris Walker experience. Like you probably heard on my other past podcasts if you've been listening. I don't usually have good things to say about Jarris. I try to find good things throughout the game. I do. And I'll point them out when I see them. I'll write it down. I'm like, hey, there's a good Jarris Walker play because I don't want this guy to like fail. But my goodness, it's like, how many chances can this guy have? I'm so out on it. And I'm at the point to where, especially when like Neesmith comes back, Shepherd comes back, I'm much ready to give Furphy all of Walker's minutes in that scenario then. And hopefully we can maybe trade Walker and get a center for him. Like, whatever package we need to put together. I hope that's what kind of happens because I'm more Team Furphy over Walker. I just like what he brings more to the table. And it's kind of crazy to say because Walker was a lottery pick, but a lot of times you swing and a miss on lottery picks, and we're not the greatest team at drafting, to be honest, in our history of drafting in the top, 15 or whatever. Just all our draft picks are usually not that great. So I think we missed with this one, Pacer Nation, unfortunately. And hopefully we can kind of package him and at least get a starting center out of it. Because we can have Furphy just step in and do better in his minutes now. And we'll have Neesmith back. Shepherd, I mean, we'll see how he plays when he gets back. He's hurt, so I'm not going to dog on him, but he's had a pretty rough year. He was starting to play a little better, at least before the injury. So that was encouraging, but if it gets to the point where I'm just like, just play Kam Jones over Shepherd so we can see what Kam Jones can do. That's like the point I'm kind of getting at where, hey, now that Kam Jones is finally getting healthy, kind of getting back, let's see what we got in him. He's a second-round pick, I know, but we've been finding some pretty good value in the second round here lately. So I would like to see what we got, and I think the Pacers do too. I think they're gonna actually gonna want to play him and see what he can bring because I do think they drafted him in mind of maybe replacing Shepard because Shepard's kind of one dimensional, only can really play shooting guard. Kam Jones theoretically can play the one and two, so I think they like that versatility at least, and that's because they always like playing with two guards. So I think they're gonna want two guys that can handle the ball and create. And I think Kam Jones could, possibly provide that. We don't know yet, but theoretically he can. So yeah, Pacer Nation, that's where I'm at. I'm hoping for Kam Jones minutes. I'm hoping for Furphy minutes in this lost season. I mean, at least we're one step closer to having a top pick, hopefully. I mean, we know it's not guaranteed when you're one of the worst teams. We've seen it before with the Detroit Pistons of the world, the Wizards falling back to like the fifth pick. We got to pray that doesn't happen to us, Pacer Nation, because that would just be a colossal failure and make it even harder to endure this season. Like after looking back after the fact, if that would happen, man, it would be tough. But I believe wholeheartedly we're gonna get lucky and we're gonna end up getting a top pick. I really do believe that we're gonna get rewarded because we've only had like a top three pick. I think the last time we had a top three pick, we got Rick Smits in 1988 or something like that. So I might be wrong, but I think that's what we had. So I think it's time that we're due for another top 2 to 3 pick. So that's what I'm basically hoping for, Pacer Nation. Nothing else I can really say in this game. I mean, like I said, some guys played well. Siakam played extremely well. Nimhard had his moments, but he also had four turnovers in this game, costly turnovers. Matherin struggled shooting from the field again. He didn't have any turnovers, so that was a huge plus. And he led the team in rebounding. And Nimhard did end up leading the team in assists, of course. But it's just another game too where it would have really helped to have TJ as well. I think he would have propelled this team to I don't know, at least be in it most of the game because anytime Nimhard's struggling, TJ always kind of helps carry the load. But Nimhard did have a good scoring game and 7 assists but 4 turnovers is rough. That's rough. And Siakam played well. Furphy showed some good things, but I don't know. All in all, Pacer Nation, just another frustrating loss, and we got to hope for a good bounce back game tomorrow against the Bucks. Hopefully, we can beat Miles Turner and his return back to. Actually, are we playing in Banker's Life? I don't even know. But just the fact we're playing Miles again, I'm pretty sure it's probably in Milwaukee. I'm sure it'll be nice to get the win, especially with how bad they are right now, and just kind of throwing in Miles' face again. Quite frankly, that guy was so cocky when he left, talking so much trash on our guys. It's like, dude, we basically, I mean, overpaid you for so long, and you're getting overpaid now, and it's being exposed because you needed Tyrese to have your career seasons. Tyrese got you paid, and yet you're talking trash on Tyrese at one point. It's comical. So it's good, much watch TV in a sense that we can at least see our guys probably get up and want to play hard against Miles and really show them what we got, even though we're pretty bad this year. But they're bad too. So let's hope we can at least enjoy that game tomorrow, Pacer Nation, before this Christmas break. And I'll do another podcast covering that game tomorrow and maybe one before the game tomorrow. We'll see. But if you guys have been listening, I post this on YouTube as well. And if you guys are listening on YouTube, you could also check out the podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I usually put the links in the comments or in the description of each video. And it's just a nice, easy way to listen to the podcast. If you're not sitting at home, you can listen to it on the way to work or the gym. And then if you listen to the podcast a lot, I post them on YouTube as well. So if you want to change the pace and watch it on YouTube. And if you guys like it all, I appreciate just a good review, a good 5-star rating on the listening platforms, and then a good thumbs up and a follow on both platforms as well. But I just really appreciate you guys listening, guys. And I really hope we can turn around this season. I know we're not going to turn around and make the playoffs, but at least see some developmental progress in some of these guys. So I really appreciate you, Pacer Nation, and I will talk to you